Hey everybody, Jason and John here for Everyday Crypto, sponsored by CryptoTaxShield.com. Jason, how are you?
John, I'm doing great. How you doing today?
I'm gonna make it, man. It's been a little over a week since we did one of these. Just got busy with stuff. I've been looking for a house. My mom's been looking for a house, and that's going to sort of dovetail into what I want to talk to you today about with some of the stuff going on with the Fed. So I appreciate you sitting down with us today, and let's get into it.
Let's do it. And if I could, please, if you find any entertainment or educational value in this at all, please like and subscribe. It helps us help you. And
Absolutely.
we are not financial advisors. Always do your own research.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so today the Fed's increased the Federal Reserve rate to another 75 basis points, which was to be expected, although a full 100 basis points was on the table.
Yeah,
The markets have reacted pretty positively. Like, it's sideways, but
yeah,
that's positive at this point, right?
sure.
As far as the housing market, like me and you have been saying this for maybe 6 months now, and it's happening, right? This is
Right.
the time of year where it's starting to show itself. Mortgage applications are down by more than 30%. Here in San Diego, one out of every five homes that have a deal in escrow, the buyers are pulling out of escrow. Um, Refinances are down by over 90% year over year.
Sure,
Um,
sure.
and this is only going to get worse as people get deeper. And it's like right now, only the people who really pay attention are getting into it. I'm sure there's people out there still with the mindset, oh my God, I got to buy this house before someone else does
Right.
because they don't watch the news or maybe they're not financially educated on these things. But 2 months from now, there's going to be a huge narrative of like an oh crap moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's so it's so fascinating. I know I've mentioned on previous episodes that I was a loan officer for a handful of years, and you come from a financial background, and I've been around brokers, and nobody can put a finger on it. It's interesting that sort of there's a lot of trends that people can sort of see, and history repeats itself. Things are all over the place, right? We got pockets where some of these nice houses are going 20% above market. We've got some pockets now where nice houses are dropping 30% because they can't sell anything, and there's really no rhyme or reason to it. And it's fascinating, if not scary, you know.
I was talking to a real estate agent. Me and my wife are looking at property in Puerto Vallarta.
Hmm. Oh, great.
And I asked him, and I already know that his answer is going to be super lean towards because real estate agents always think the market's going to be good.
Right.
They're blind to it.
Sure.
Fact. And he goes, well, the prices are still higher than they were a year ago. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, but here's the difference. A year ago, they were at this price on the way up.
Yeah.
Now they're at that price on the way down. So they're just crossing, but the slope is completely opposite. And that's the scary thing, right? I mean, the Feds are going to keep increasing interest rates, right? Probably up until mid next year. That's the danger zone. I think the danger zone is already here, but
Yeah.
you know, the Jerome Powell said, I think it was like 3 weeks ago, he came out and just blatantly said, hey, look, we're going to break things. The stock market, crypto, he specifically said real estate needs a reality check.
Hmm.
And if they're willing to say that, they're just giving you the heads up that, hey, look,
Yep.
inflation is a real problem,
Hmm.
and the price of your home doesn't really mean that much to us because inflation is a much bigger problem. And they're right about that. I'm not going to, I
Right.
think people are going to give the Feds a bad rap on these things. Although they created the problem, they have to now fix it. But it's not only that, man. Like me and you were talking earlier, it's like right now in Europe,
Yeah.
like in Germany, people are loading up on firewood,
Right.
trying to prepare for the winter because right now they've already seen their energy bills go up like 5 or 6x. And that's already having an effect. Like if you own a local pub or a factory, they're just shutting down because the energy cost is their profit margin.
Right.
And they haven't even gotten into winter yet where they're looking at like a 10x on their energy bills. So in America, if your energy bill is $500 a month, imagine if that was now $5,000 a month. That's devastating. And you're seeing civil unrest in these places like Spain, Germany, France. It's all related.
Hmm.
And you mix in on top of that the idea of fertilizers.
Right.
So most fertilizer product comes out of Russia,
Hmm.
And now there's a massive shortage of fertilizer. Well, that's going to create a whole nother problem of food shortages. And you're seeing, I forget where it was, I don't know if it was Greece or somewhere else, where the farmers were just protesting in the streets, like, we don't know what to do.
Yep.
So I think the civil unrest is kind of like the next step of, economic chaos.
Yeah, I mean these things. We we talk about it this sort of microcosm of the U.S., but it's so prevalent around the world. And I actually had it in my notes today to talk to you about some of that civil unrest and just how it affects everything globally, financially, food supplies, supply chains. One of the companies I consult with is a shoe company, and we even see it on that end, where just getting shoes into their warehouse takes 6 extra weeks, and that's just stuff sitting on the ocean or sitting in a port somewhere that nobody can get to, and it's, and that affects everything. That affects when we can pay for the shoes. That affects the factories that make the shoes. They're not getting paid. So it trickles down the entire way. And it's just scary. Let me backtrack a little bit. When you talked about when you thought the feds might maybe slow things up or slow down a little bit, do you think we're what, 6 weeks, 8 weeks out from the election midterms? Do you think that's going to have any sort of effect? No.
I 3 months ago I thought it might.
Yeah.
But the Fed's increasing interest rates today shows you the Feds don't care about it.
That's true. Yeah.
And we do know that now that President Biden has emptied out half of the the gas and oil reserves in order to keep prices at the pump low.
Right.
But that's also super scary because we've never had reserves this low. So now we're going to have to replenish those reserves. So the second the elections go through,
mm-hmm.
you're going to see gas prices go through the roof.
Yep.
And there's other things that scare me, John, I'll be honest with you. So I've been following this Russia thing real close now since March, maybe February. So the Russian economy is a disaster for sure. Businesses are going out of business left and right. Money's leaving the country as fast as they can. Mm-hmm. Nobody's using the ruble. But Putin, I kind of feel like he's played his cards pretty well, and he knows all he has to do is get into winter.
Yeah.
And he came out today and he had a speech, for the Russians. I didn't understand all of it, but I got the gist of he's not going to tap out, and he's willing to take down the whole global economy with him, with the idea of, in that chaos, restructuring will happen.
Yeah.
And what he wants is American dominance to fade.
Mm-hmm.
And they've done other things too. Russia and I believe Iran, they legalized international transactions using cryptocurrencies.
Right.
And they're directly just trying to take power away from the dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of this stuff is happening, and I can't help but to think that, looking back through history, things that led to big nations going to war,
mm-hmm.
it's very similar. You've got financial attacks on each other, financial warfare. You've got shortages of supply chain items that are necessary. You have food shortages, and then you've got I forgot what I was going to say, but there's just a lot. There's a lot of stuff going on. But.
Yeah, it's I did see a report today that Putin came out and said something along the lines of he's willing to use nukes if necessary. I don't know if you saw that today. So, look, there's a lot of bluster and a lot of chest beating and stuff, and people say a lot of things. But that makes me nervous. You know what I mean? You put anybody in a corner, they're willing to do just about anything. So,
I mean, even America, America said the other day that they would back up Taiwan.
Right.
I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. Like, why can't we just let things be? Like,
mm-hmm.
I get it. Ideally, we should help out those who need help.
Of course.
But we're not the global police.
Yep.
And we do the same things to countries that China does to Taiwan. Like, like look at Puerto Rico or,
mm-hmm.
Cuba. Like, we do the same stuff. So,
yeah.
And Americans are like, well, we should definitely stand up for them. Yeah, but what would you be saying if China came out today and said they will back up Puerto Rico if Puerto Rico wants its independence from America?
Right.
Can you imagine how offended the American government would be at that?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's definitely a hypocrisy that is somehow lost on the hypocritical, I guess. It's interesting. That's a good analogy, actually, the Puerto Rico thing, because it is very, very similar. And yeah, and I saw the White House, sort of backtracked the president's statements on covering Taiwan.
Yeah.
They have to do that a lot with this administration, but yeah, it is scary, man. Like, and going back to some of the rate stuff, I'm in the market, and I think I'm going to take a breather. I've been hitting it pretty hard, and I'm getting close on a few things, but the rates are at a point now. I refuse. On my current house, I have a 3.25, I think, and I just can't justify 6.5. I just can't. Now, when I was a loan officer, I was refining people from 8 and 9% down to 7, down to 6.5. But everything's relative, right? So we were at 2 to 4 forever, and I just can't wrap my head around and pay an extra $500 or $600 a month, or more actually, to just move. So it's scary.
You're pretty much doubling your mortgage payment on a
yeah.
So you're getting less house for more of a payment. It just doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's all relative. Like when rates were 18, 9 sounded good, right?
Right. No, 100%.
Yeah.
What was funny was in the early 2000s was when I was a loan officer, but we had rate sheets on the wall, so almost framed from 82, 83, 84, and they were 14, 15, 16% just for a regular conventional 30-year mortgage, which blows my mind. Now, again, everything being relative, you could buy a house for $40,000. Right, but you'd be paying $1,000 a month in $1982. So it's just crazy. Now, if you want something $250,000, $300,000, you're looking at a $2,000 a month house payment. I'm just like, no,
that's brutal.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So brutal.
Yeah.
I think the good news is the feds can't stay on this path for long.
For sure. Yeah.
They know for sure that they have to go back to money printing because that's the path they've been on the last 50 years.
Right.
So I don't know when it happens. Maybe it happens like, halfway through next year or something like that. It'll be nice just to get that pressure off. You know what I mean? Like, because right now you can't invest in anything. You can't touch anything. You just kind of, sit in cash and wait for the opportunity to present itself. But I guess that's a good sign, though, is, if you've got cash,
yep,
opportunity is waiting for you.
For sure. And we've covered a little bit of that previously. Even in the worst downturns of anything, there's always opportunity on that upswing. So, and maybe next time we'll dig into some of those possibilities and kind of see where some opportunities might lie. Jason, I appreciate you taking some time, man. I know this is a little doom and gloom today, but that's okay. It's not it's not always going to be rainbows and sunshine, and but at some point I want some sunshine, So
yeah, John, I appreciate you as always, man.
Always, man. Yeah, we'll do it again soon. Take care.
You got it.